This is Jerome Corsi. Today it's Tuesday. It's August 6th, 2024. Thank you for joining us at TheTruthCentral.com. You can find me on X at CorsiJerome1. You can find me on Substack, JeromeCorsiPhD.substack.com. Well, I guess the first story today is that we're anticipating the possibly Iran Hezbollah attack on Israel. It hasn't happened yet, but widely reported that it's going to happen. And of course, Israel attacked and killed this Hamas leader in Iran, and so there's going to be retaliation. Iran says it doesn't want regional escalation, but it must punish Israel. Well, it's how these wars start. You know, one retaliates, the other retaliates. It's how World War I started, a series of incidents that just escalated. And I'm not sure what they're going to do in terms of an attack. I mean, they don't have much of an air force. I don't think they have nuclear weapons yet. Certainly not enough to be really usable. So maybe drones, who knows what they're going to do. They're going to do something. And they'll try to make it horrific. And this war would never have happened had Donald Trump been president. The entire Biden administration, the entire Obama sending airplanes full of money to Iran, John Kerry. I mean, these people have been Islamophobe. I said when I wrote Abomination in 2008, it said Obama was raised Muslim. He lied about it. Of course, he lies about everything. So what's new? Lied about it. And he wanted to have the Islamic violence. We created ISIS. I reported on that at the time. John McCain was very involved in that with John Kerry, buddies. The two of them really should have had nothing to do with one another, but they did. And so, we send more money to Iran, and then we're surprised we have wars. I mean, these geniuses are satanic. All they can cause is wars. And Kamala Harris, we're going to get her vice presidential pick. I can hardly wait which kind of dummy she's going to pick. Another Democratic stooge. Kamala, Shmamala, I don't know what this woman calls herself. Cackala. Cackle is a good name. So she just cackles, and says the satanic, hands thing. And this woman's is about as bizarre as you can get. Slept her way to the top. It has no ideas at all, except that we should open borders, we should end the police, we should have non-citizens vote, we should destroy America, we don't need any God, we don't need any families, we should just kill children. I mean, where did this woman come from? Hell? I think so. Certainly sounds like she's from hell. Oh, but she's got a lovely smile. Yes, but is she Jamaican? Is she black? What is she? Well, we don't know. She's self-identifies somehow or other. What are her pronouns? She thinks we need to keep woke. And she's got the Hillary Gaga, the big eyes and the big mouth and gaga. I can't wait till this woman retires, goes away. This is the Democrats have now picked the worst possible candidate. And what are they doing? They're gaslighting. They're saying, there's Kamala's surge. Everybody loves Kamala. Look at all her polls. Her poll numbers are great. That's only so they can steal elections. It's only so they can steal elections. Biden's numbers were so ridiculously bad they couldn't steal an election. These numbers are arguably a little better after the gaslit. And she's always got this gaga look. And always giggling at inappropriate times. I really think this is a disgrace. And I'm not sure that we shouldn't have just a Democratic candidates weekends of Bernie. Why don't they get a dead guy and make him AI? That's what Obama wants. That'll be his 4th term. Just got a dead guy. Why would you put up these people? Between her and Biden, and Joe Biden, and Hunter Biden, the corruption. Has anybody seen Marco Polo, the notebook here of all the porn pictures and the crack cocaine and the drugs and the guns and the having sex with family members, and all this is just normal. All this is a day in the Biden family. And it turns out now our disgraced Secret Service head was didn't want to find the cocaine, and the White House didn't want to know whose it was. I mean, this government is the worst possible government I've ever seen. Dysfunctional, woke, totalitarian, insistent upon bad ideas. And what do? They produce a bad economy. Oh, surprise, surprise. And so the economy yesterday started tanking. Well, it came back because, of course, they spend more money. They say we're going to lower interest rates. They are pumping that. They're gaslighting the economy too. So everybody says, oh, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll get to election day. After that, Trump wins, we'll tank the economy. We'll have an international global crisis. Everybody will go broke. Blame it on Trump. I mean, are these guys transparent or what? They're so completely phony. We've seen the lies. And I think the world has seen the lies. Okay, now, I'm constantly warning you that you better prepare for a major crash. Gold today is trading at $2,402 an ounce, and silver $26.88 an ounce. And please call and get a copy of the free book. We had, I think, 5 or 6 people do it last month. The program's still being shadow banned, and we will be changing this to the Anti-Globalist Alliance pretty soon. I'm going to cover that in a minute. But the free book is How the Coming Global Crash Will Create an Historic Gold Rush. And you can call it by Swiss America, and they will show you how. In fact, they'll ship you the book free, but it's got an enormous amount of information in it about how every time we've had global crashes in the last 50 years or so, gold has doubled in price, and it's going to do it again. Gold is scarce. It has a value. We're finding that the dollar is diminishing rapidly, with $35 trillion in national debt going quickly to $36 trillion, paying $1 trillion or more a year in national interest on the debt. And by the way, the budget, the Bidenomics genius resigned when the stock market tanked yesterday. So he's gone. I think Council of Economic Advisors couldn't tell us why we were still borrowing money and paying interest when we had the modern monetary theory. We could just print the money. Why don't we just print the money we need? Why are we borrowing it from people and paying interest? Well, we like paying interest because it bankrupts the United States, and our goal is to bankrupt the United States. Thank you, Democratic Party. I'm so sick of these people. Kill babies, write a woman to choose, kill babies. That's plank number 1. Plank number 2, defund the police. We don't need no stinking police. Free the prisons. Flood the borders with immigrants. Don't vet them. If they kill people, don't punish them. Poor innocent babies. They're the victims, the criminals, raping people. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. Move on, Baghdad Bob. Don't ask Obama. He's too busy trying to figure out what happened to his cook. These people are ridiculous. Time to get rid of a whole bunch of them. The entire Democratic Party, flush it down the toilet. And include the Republicans coming out that, all this money that went to Ukraine. Looks like Mitch McConnell got his kickback. Looks like, Chuck Schumer got his kickback. Hunter Biden got his kickback. Zelensky got his kickback and his cocaine. And now he's flying F-16s with advanced weaponry into Russia. Well, those F-16s will last about a week. Russia will probably shoot them all down. And ridiculous. I mean, what do we do with this war anyway? It's another stupid war. And now we've got the Poles lining up this border. Is Poland going to invade Belarus? I mean, it's like a mad world movie. If anybody remembers those 60s, these people are so ridiculous. Unfortunately, they're serious. Unfortunately, they can cause a nuclear war. Now, I see Trump surging. I see Trump doing better and better with shows. I see Trump more and more in his stride. I see Trump as really surfacing here. And by the way, on Swiss America, get this Walking Liberty $50 offer, because these coins are worth a lot in silver, about 99% silver. And at least for, the coins purchased as a lost leader at the cost of what they are worth, you'll have some precious metal that will appreciate. It's easy to spend. $50, easily spend those. Right there's the offer. Just fill it out, and get the secret war on cash. It's where these people are headed as digital currency. They want to control your life. They want to give you a social credit score. They want to make sure they control every aspect of your living. Well, we've created the Anti-Globalist Alliance, and this book is coming out. I just got my first copy. Anti-Globalist Manifesto, Ending the War on Humanity. It's up on Amazon. You can order it now. And it will be delivered on I believe, the 13th of August. So it's just around the corner. And this book, I think, is going to be, we're creating an anti-globalist alliance. I've filed it in the United States and in Europe. We're actually going to have an organization and a website. We'll transform this podcast into the Anti-Globalist Alliance podcast. We're trying to go into more of a Joe Rogan style, do a lot more interviews, a lot less of the news recap. We're shadow banned like crazy. So we might as well fight it with a bigger show and flood with, Rumble and the other channels, which we're doing pretty well on. But again, this book, I think, is going to be a important book for the rest of the year and launching into 2025, hopefully with the new Trump administration. Now, if we continue going through all of the ramifications here, this war, the Ukraine war, I'm predicting that we're going to see chaos between now and the end of the year, because the Democrats cannot stand the idea that Trump might be president again. What are they going to do? I think we'll have another pandemic. They're talking about the bird flu. I think we'll have another ramp up of, we can't have Antifa and Black Lives Matter because the Democrats are in charge. They don't want to be blamed for that. So we won't have that. But we will have Hamas protesting at the Democratic Convention. Democratic Convention is going to take up much of August. So August will probably be pretty peaceful. But then I think in September and October, all chaos breaks loose. And I'm predicting that these demons would have nuclear war to prevent an election if that's what it took to get Donald Trump from being president. Now we're shifting our focus. And so now we're moving into a much more activist phase. And Christopher, you'll show the God's 5 Stones website. This is a 501c3 we've created. God's, G-O-D-S, no apostrophe, 5 spelled out. God, G-O-D-S, no apostrophe, 5, F-I-V-E, Stones, S-T-O-N-E-S, after the David and Goliath myth, where David picked up 5 smooth stones from the brook, and those were what he needed to kill Goliath. The right stones, God-chosen stones. Okay, now we're focusing this on the algorithms, the manipulation we're finding in the state Board of Election voter registration database. And they're there. We're finding algorithms in New York, finding about 13 other states, including Ohio, Pennsylvania. And so this website is raising money, because if we go down to the bottom, there's a donate. We'll also add to it this morning where you can mail in checks. I'm going to Ohio next week, and we're going to begin showing the algorithms in Ohio. so that we can be exposed. Just use those QRs and you can donate directly or click the button. And we will also have a mail-in address for you to send checks if you want to do it that way. So I'm going to spend the rest, I think, of this campaign focusing on that it looks to me like the moderate, the actual operatives, the communists, the deep state haters, the people who hate the United States, the deep state lovers, the deep state operatives moved into the state boards of election, and they altered the various voter records with algorithms, mathematical formulas, which allows them to create false voter records to sort them back into the deck. It's like you're playing in a casino, blackjack, and you realize the 5-shoe deck of cards you're being dealt are marked. You're being dealt the cards that make you lose. So the people who created the system can find the votes that they created that are false. They hid them in the system. The state board, they look like legitimate numbers because the number manipulation is very brilliant, and it does scramble the numbers around, but they look okay. So you could either model the election before you start and say we're going to need so many mail-in ballots and then vote them as you go along by having a fake voter request a mail-in voter, which is then printed with that number on it, the State Board of Election voter ID, so it certifies. That's what surprised me in 2020. In 2020, these elections were certifying. I couldn't figure out why. Because there was obviously so many improprieties with the mail-in ballots. How could they get certified? Well, now we know. It's this internal algorithm added to the database at the state level. I'm going to spend between now and the election making this a clear statement, unifying around this concept the various people who are researching across the country on voter integrity. We do not have secure voter rolls, and the Democrats are going to cheat. And so it needs to be stopped. And one way we're going to stop it is I'm going to concentrate on it for the next 3 months, August, September, October, until we vote in November. And if you want to, please contribute to help us. We'll need the funding to get this case made. But we're going to make it to the American people, and it's going to be a strong case. Chris, you want to comment on what we talked about so far?
Yesterday was a boring news day. I'll have to say that. But today and tomorrow could be rather interesting. Yes, we're going to be yawning through the Kamala Harris vice presidential pick, but the media will fawn over it. That's what's going to happen. However, it might be that pick might be delayed, considering the news cycle will be paying attention to what happens in the Middle East. Antony Blinken has told the G7, according to reports, that he believes that Iran, as of yesterday, would retaliate or attack Israel within 24 hours. Well, that timeline extends into today. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that here. That's a big one here. As far as and moving to the Anti-Globalist Alliance, that finding that algorithm in Ohio, I have to tell you, this is again, New York and Ohio can't be the only two states with that, but you're finding them one by one.
We're finding them one by one,
right?
And I'm going to keep going until we find them all.
Right, and we talked about this during yesterday's podcast. There was that anomaly in 2012 that saw in some districts more voters and more registered voters. More votes than registered voters in some areas, and that was that raised suspicions, but nobody talked about it. Nobody, not enough people, at least.
Well,
it was shouted down as a conspiracy.
Yeah, they were saying, and they were also saying you're subversive because you were questioning a legitimate election.
Yeah,
had been certified, and that was the problem. Once the election is certified, it's much harder to call it fake.
Right.
And so therefore, this is continuously a problem when we realize that the algorithm present can be operative and it does certify false votes that are cast. And so therefore, this is going to be a major, I'm going to spend a lot of time in Ohio. I think I'll probably be traveling a lot between now and the election just to get this voter issue in front of everyone and see if we can't get the election board of elections officials changed so we don't have criminals in there running the election.
And one more note on the 2020 election. If anybody doesn't think that the 2020 election was played with in one way or another, They they actually bragged about it afterwards in Time magazine, and it's still available for people to see. The article is "The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election." They brag all about fortifying it, if you will. But that's after it's certified. You can't question them.
All right. Well, I think we're going to run an abbreviated show today because we've covered the basic topics. It's going to be a very, very busy day here. Well, I'll be back on Tony Schaefer's show a little bit later this morning. In the end, God always wins. God is going to win here too. It may look grim. It may look like we're up against the odds. We are. But God did not create this experience to lose. In the final analysis, what's going to happen is we're going to see that if we join God in the spirit of 2 Chronicles 7:14 and get on our knees and ask for repentance, we're letting it get to this point, God will hear our prayer and heal our land. And I'm confident we're going to win. Donald Trump will win this time. And I don't think that cheating is going to stop him from doing so. That if I have anything to do about it, I plan to do that. Please take a look at gods5stones.com. Dr. Jerome Corsi, today is Tuesday. It's August 6th. We'll be back tomorrow. God bless.